So we're here in Massachusetts, right along the Appalachian Trail. Um, in we're partly in Beckett and partly in Lee, Mass, and visiting a friend. And yesterday we decided to go to dinner, and as soon as I stepped outside, I started feeling nauseous and could feel energies around me, and I hadn't felt them yet. So it was a bit of a surprise because we'd been here a few days already. And then we went to a restaurant in town, and I could feel the energies getting stronger. It was as if they saw my light and then knew I was open. Note to self, better boundaries. But they knew I was open, so they were around me as we were sitting in the restaurant, and I was trying to have conversation. What I was really seeing and hearing were there were a group of people who were asking to be crossed over, and they wouldn't really leave me alone until I told them that I would do it today, that I would cross them over before I left Massachusetts. So I've been sitting here just now and connecting in with them. We're along a marsh here, and I was seeing a group of people standing out in the marsh waiting. Another thing that happened last evening was I was sitting here and I got up and my back hurt and my arm hurt, and it was this feeling as if I had been in an accident of some sort, that I was crushed, that something happened to my body, and I knew it wasn't mine. So I thought to myself, well, we are on the Appalachian Trail, perhaps something happened. So I just quickly Googled, were there any accidents on the Appalachian Trail here? But the first thing that popped up wasn't really related to the Appalachian Trail. There was a young man, 17 years old, and I believe the date was 1847. He was racing ox carts, and the ox cart fell on him and crushed him. And there's a monument that they erected recently for him. His name was John Glade. So he is one. As soon as I acknowledge that, all that pain, it just goes away. It's just their way of getting in touch with me or let me know something's up. So he is one that is waiting to be crossed over. And then just sitting here now, I was tapping into, well, who are the others? The others. I'm feeling a woman who died in childbirth, and she has not fully crossed over. It was traumatic for her, and the loss of a child, even though she was the one that was lost, it was like the loss. I feel like the child lived, so she lost her child, even though she was the one that passed. So I can feel her. I'm also feeling a Native American man, and I started getting the word Wampanoag. So I remembered the Wampanoag from history class. And of course, we're in Massachusetts, and Plymouth came up today in conversation, and that's always a sign. So I did a quick Google search with that too, and yes, the Wampanoag were here in Massachusetts, and they were related to the Pilgrims and those types of things. But what I'm getting is that he was killed by a white man, and he was very angry because I said, "Why didn't you just cross over?" And it was more like he was really angry that happened, and angry at the white man, angry at the settlers. Something happened with him, and I haven't fully tapped in, but something happened with him, and he was stayed as a protector of sorts, but he said he doesn't need to do that anymore, and saw my light, so he's ready to cross over. So those were 3 that I was getting. There might be some that are connected to the road. There's a road here, and the Massachusetts Turnpike is right here, and and others who are not going to fully come forward in who they are, but they said there were 16. So I've never crossed over 16, but we're just going to go in and see what happens. I feel like a couple of them might have messages before they go. So what I'm hearing is to cross over the ones that don't need to be known. They just want to they're ready to leave. And then there might be a few at the end, maybe the ones that I mentioned who might have something to say. So what happens with me when I've crossed people over is usually I bring back any fragments that they have, because when we go through traumatic things, we trauma of all sorts throughout our lifetime, we break into these little pieces. So it's in my celestial shamanism work, it's called defragging. So I just bring these pieces and parts back in, and so that when they cross over, they can go in as whole beings, and they go in. And I have a feeling that a lot of time when I cross them over, yes, they go to spirit, but they also go to their counterpart in this timeline. So if they've reincarnated, these pieces come back to that person in this timeline. So that's interesting too, in that we can help the ones from the past and the ones here now. But I've never done this many, so I'm not sure how it'll go. I use light language. The light language is like light codes. It's energy. Light language is energy, and it's energy in code. And I speak the code, or I sign the code, and it's conscious and it knows exactly what to do. So I'm hearing it basically will work with the higher selves of each of these individuals to bring back their traumatic pieces, the pieces that have split off, and then I'll open a portal via light language. So it's just the energy working to open a bridge to spirit. And often Yeshua or Jesus is there to help, or someone, I feel like others might be there, depending on who the person is that I'm crossing over. But many people see that familiar face of Yeshua or Jesus, and then they will go. This Native American man, he says he recognizes Jesus, even though it wasn't within his belief system at the time, but he knows who I'm speaking of. The being, the one known as Yeshua. But I feel like he'll be the easiest to leave because he understands fully what's going on. Okay, so I'm just going to ground myself here, shooting out a cord into this earth up here in the east coast, the north, and these mountains and the Berkshires. I'm going to create a sacred space, deliberately create a sacred space, create a rose and gold bubble around myself, and I fill the space within with only the highest vibrational energies and follows of source from the light. And what I'm seeing is them all lining up, but I have a feeling it'll go pretty quickly. So Kotostanatai tu utostama. Koto ustawaka etu amama. Shawa. Shawatau to. Sawatai to sawakai dai sea. Tostanak. I'm feeling really this energy is a Native American shaman, Native American chief, Native American medicine man who is stepping forward at this time to help cross these people over. Calling them into a circle. Come to the circle. Tostawake ete sawakeya. Shawake etu tanata. Rota nastatailustanamaikeya tuata tuatatai krutamasawaki etea. We're going to pull in their fragments. Kushtana ustanak etu atamakushta krototosawa ke eshtana tua 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 tu tanatai tatastanaya krutamashuta stuk utoisawukitai te ai tuana shawatai tusta kustana ukoitea tanaka stana usta wakea tua shanataekea. We call back all the pieces. Jastakanataitea shutu ukutua makaia. And we cross through this portal kushtanata ukea tana as whole beings. Kushtanatu usatawa ikea in our sovereignty. Kushtata akitu musa wakea and in our fullest power. Kushta anata waki este etu mukia. Kushtanata ikea tu taite tu ta 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 rushtanata ika. Husha. Oi. What I'm seeing is just like these lights all flowing back into these beings who are standing in a circle. Kushtanata sawa. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your time here. Thank you for your service on this planet. Thank you. Thank you for being who you came here to be. Thank you for your part in our evolution. Thank you for your part in your own soul's evolution. And we release you back to your higher self. And then your higher self will direct you to where you need to be. Kusta utusta watawokeya stanataishu. Now I'm just going to go ahead and create the portal above the circle. It's basically just an opening in the timeline, opening in this hologram, change in frequency, allowing a bridge. Kushtanatawa. Kurut osatawa. Sawatawa kuisha. Tatatatakurut ototoite. Shatamakiat. Kushtanatatatatatatata. What I see is just a spinning light. And one by one, they're going to slowly step in. I see beings reaching hands through. They're reaching hands through and grabbing their loved ones, welcoming them back. Kushtanata aisawuk osawakaya. Tushtanata wakia tu osawakaya. And they slowly Tushtanata wasawaki. There's like it's hard to describe. It's like sad, but it's also this immense joy of going home, of waking up from this long sleep and realizing that they're going home. This sense of home as they're greeted by the ones that they love. The one who lost a child, now reunited with the child. And I'm not crying because it's sad. It's just beautiful energies. And they're just so happy. And some of them, those that believed in Yeshua, those that believed, He welcomes them. Maybe it's a lot of energy. And the lights went out. There's this Native American man, he was very angry when I first kind of felt his energy, but he's very calm now. But this message that I keep getting, that things are not as they seem, the stories that have been told are not true. Stories of the first Thanksgiving may not be what we've been told. And this sadness at the massacre of the native peoples, so many. Oh, I feel them now, around and around, circles around and around. But they're so peaceful. There is no anger anymore from that side. They understand their role. They chose. They sacrificed. They chose to not forget. And this choosing not to forget made them a target. But it was worth it. They did not forget who they were. And this man is sort of acknowledging me and thanking me. And it's really interesting. I've never seen this before. He gets on his horse. And he's riding his horse into the light. I'm the last one to leave. Is this young man? John Glade. His energy is quite beautiful. He's very young and playful and still not bitter at what happened. He's just confused when it happened, and he did not go. And he's stayed, and he's looked over the land, and he's watched over the people. He's sort of held his energy here as a watcher and keeper. And he doesn't need to do that anymore. It was even though he was killed while playing, to always remember to play. Because it is in that youthful joy that we find so much happiness, that we find who we truly are. And there are many that are waiting for him. And for him, I'm not sure if his family was religious, but I see Yeshua, and they're giving each other a hug. And a final nod to me. And they walk through. And that portal closes. Tawasai saitu sawetea tumulia tui tuia tuanaya tu koea Tuatama Tu esate agataya na tuasea. That shaman that has been present is also departing. Kushtatanatu akaiya. For some final words, just the uto akaikeya. Shata usawakeya. One thing, Hushtanatu asakeya, that came out of this holiday called Thanksgiving, Kushtanataiya, is this sense of gratitude. He may not condone what happened to the native peoples or condone the stories that have been twisted and changed over time, but the fact that this idea of gratitude, of thankfulness that permeates the holiday in the United States of Thanksgiving, that is one to be celebrated. Kushtata uta watanaki asuatai kiaya sawa. Kuishta no uko etea sawa katumosawa. We are grateful for all who chose to come here, to have this earthly experience. All colors, all backgrounds, all variations of light and dark. We are thankful and we celebrate what is occurring on this planet at this time. For it is an influx of light that we have never witnessed before. And what looks like evil, what looks like shadow that has always been here is now illuminated and brought to the surface for all to see, so that we can shed light on those things that have been for too long in darkness. And so it is. It was a bit more emotional than I expected. But yeah, this is part of our journey too as we travel, is not only speaking with humans that we encounter, but the energies and the spirits, the fairies, the extraterrestrials, whoever wants a voice, the earth herself. So we look forward to more of these types of sessions or videos with you.